Hello, boys. Welcome to the Trough.
Look alive, wage slaves, presenting.
This is Dr. Infinity, and this week I got a little double feature for everyone. We're reviewing the 5th edition of the Bizarchives and issue 6 of Aegeon. If you don't know, these are both anthologies that I've previously reviewed on this channel. The Bizarchives is a kind of collection of kind of pulpy stories. It's like a mix of sci-fi horror. There's a little bit of fantasy, kind of like that, while Aegeon is more science fiction focused. I've reviewed these both in the past, and I like what they do. I like what they put out there. You get a nice grouping of interesting stories. And this time is no exception. These are both strong recommendations from me. I'm going to go through both collections. I'm going to talk about all the stories, so there's going to be spoilers and everything. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk about two things. One is a video game I'm not going to review, and a movie I'm also not going to review. I've kind of noticed lately for my channel it's just a lot of book stuff, which is good. That's fine. I like to be a little more diverse with it, but I'm going to talk about why I don't really have anything else this week. Not really going to waste any time. We're just going to jump right in. These are both recommendations, so get them both, read them both, support these people. There's going to be spoilers and everything, but I'm just going to list off some of the stronger stories from Aegeon that I like. If you're here for the Bizarchives, I'll have a timestamp below, so you can just hop ahead to that if you're not really interested in Aegeon. But from Aegeon, some of my favorite stories were Ferrant PI, Chinatown. This is a continuation of the Ferrant PI stories. Kazag, that's a nice little one. Roll the Sod Over Me, that was really great. Fellow Passengers, that was good. Amour, not Armor. Amour by A.J. Bell. We had Defective Model as well. A Visit to the Pleasure Dome of Kubla Khan. Out in the Rain, that was good. The continuation of Max Ryan. So a lot of really just good little ones. Nice collection like sci-fi, but there's some other stuff too. Hop right in. I'm just going to go story by story. Try to keep it kind of brief. So Ferrant PI, he's like in a dystopian future, and he's a PI, right? And he's on his own, and this time he's being hunted down in Chinatown by a group of people, and we don't really know what's going on. But I'm just going to point out a few little things that I like in this world. We have a death screw, which is they're like recycling centers for suicide cases. That's funny. We have gender priests, which look over the death screw. Baron ducks below a massive plastic soy burger dispenser in the form of a cow and a clown face. We have a foot fetish parlor, and we have people that are just permanently logged into the internet and their false reality, and it's described as filth. They have filthy, massive colostomy bags attached to them, and it's just. Oh, it's grim, it's ugly, it's good, it's good. And then we have a little lead into where we're going next with someone called Van Zam, who's interested in Ferrand. We don't know exactly why, but yeah, it'll be a nice little continuation. I like the future they paint. Not that I like that future, but I like what they paint. Kazag, this was cool. This is basically, it's our guy. There's this guy called Kevin, and he's our guy. And he's basically summoning a demon, or he has the ability to summon demon, and he uses it, and he's just, it's short, it's cool. He thinks very highly of himself, and he gets a bunch of people killed, and he's kind of trapped in hell at the end, but, he's Kevin, sorcerer of the underworld, and he also has this one, goth chick now with him. It's amusing. It's very amusing. Roll the Sod Over Me. Basically, what we have here is we're in the West, it's kind of the Wild West, but we have vampires, and they mention zombies and werewolves and stuff like that. So there's kind of these fantastical monsters around. And there's this one man who, upon entering town, our man sees another man gunned down, and he sees a guy get gunned down by this gambler. And this guy is supposed to be a vampire, and so they agreed to a duel that night at midnight. He spends the whole day running around town trying to get some help, and no one can help him. He's got nothing. And he's going to go down against a vampire, and he's going to lose. But it's really cool at the end because he's able to prove that this guy is not a vampire. He's a man pretending to be a vampire. And it's, yeah, that was really nice. That was really cool. I like that. He wins, he kills him, orders restored to the town. Fellow passengers, this is basically, it's told in kind of these log entries where this cruise ship, they docked at like Haiti and they picked up some like Haitian zombie stuff. And it's just about everything descending into hell for them, and people are getting eaten. This was nice. So Head of the Underworld Dryad, this was all right. It's not something I would typically read. It's just, I don't know if I would say it's like bad, but it's not quite my thing in terms of like writing style. It's not something I like typically enjoy, and like I thought it was okay. Techneosis. This is about like this sentient non-human life form that's been kind of abandoned, and it's just kind of like thinking about things, and then he realizes that a part of him like grew on Mars, and now it's coming back through the atmosphere, and it doesn't know what this like other offshoot of him wants. Are they going to talk? Are they there to do battle? So it's maybe a bit of a prelude, or like but it's an interesting premise, like where can it go? But that was interesting. Winds of Ixion. This was not one I really enjoyed. It's just kind of like, it's dreamlike. I guess maybe that's just me coping for being somewhat of a brainlet. But this isn't something I really enjoyed. It was just, I kept track of some of it, but I didn't really know like everything that was going on, right? Sorry. Sons of the Idol. This was cool. This was really neat. This was, we have like a little kind of comic thing. We have some really cool artwork. I really like Rome and all that. A little bit of a story. I don't know fully exactly what's happening at the end, but it is cool. I like it. Amor by A.J. Bell. He's done stuff in Toadstool and some other pieces here and there. I know like Aegeon, I would think, but maybe Bizarchives as well. It's hard for me to keep track of like everybody, so sorry. But basically, our main guy is kind of this loser temp who's just kind of like doing the bare minimum to get through life. He doesn't really give a shit, right? But one day he spots this beautiful woman and he can't get her out of his head. So he ends up following her. Her name's Kara. And then he kind of stumbles into this janitor job. And then there's all this other stuff going on. She's actually from Venus, and her sister is being held by this Dagger Corporation, and they're another alien race. Cool, they have a nice little thing. He wants to help her. But she's kind of like trapped here. And one thing that was kind of interesting is that her eating like junk food or eating like pizza unlocks her powers. So like the bracelet that has been put on her to like restrict her powers is now broken. But she leaves at the end with her sister, and it's like I don't know if she'll come back. But this was a nice little, kind of like love story. In the Pond. This is a little one with this giant toad and this guy. And yeah, it's fine. He gets eaten by the frog at the end. Detective Model. I really like this one. This is about Jorn the Mighty. And he doesn't know that he's a clone exactly. And the problem is he starts thinking too much. And his alien masters really don't like it that he can think. And he ends up teaming up with a woman who is here to get revenge for her lover who was killed by these guys. And they end up starting this rebellion on this alien station to free the other humans there that are being used for entertainment and then also as food. A visit to the pleasure dome of Kubla Khan. Nice. You get to see a bunch of like interesting wonders, and it's not too much in terms of like plot, but it's very cool. It's well written. You see a bunch of interesting stuff. And the Angel's Orb, which is something extraterrestrial, right? Out in the rain, the scientist on this rain world discovers a species laying eggs in and controlling humans, and it does not end well for him, but it's a nice little one. I liked it. Max Ryan Out of Time is a continuation of our, I don't know if I would say like Space Marine type of guy, but big buff, like space dude that does a bunch of missions for like corporations and stuff. But this time, following the events where they stole like the magic rock from the lizard aliens, he ends up getting sent into like this weird timeline, and he meets Ramek, right? And Ramek is the Brendan Hurd's creation. And that's interesting. I really didn't expect that. I did not see that coming, so there's this little crossover with that. And following that, we have another continuation of the Dream God. Yeah, I thought this was okay, but I think I really need to like read the Dream God and then go through the issues of Aegeon and then read those like chapters or excerpts of the continuation of the Dream God, and then I have a better feel for it. But overall, I really liked it. You know, I didn't like love every story, sure, but there was definitely more than enough really cool ones for me to enjoy. And at the very end, this is just something I call small scraps. So it's just like super small things I saw, but I thought I would mention. There's page 72. African is spelled wrong. It's Africian. The I should be moved in between the R and the C. And then it's 135. And the Pleasure Palace one, it says The Rack instead of Cracked. But that was it. Editing overall very good. On to Bizarchives. And Bizarchives has less stories than Aegeon, but these are longer in length. So these carried a bit more, I guess I'd say, weight. Still a lot of good stuff in Aegeon that I liked, and they did have longer ones, which I enjoyed more. Bizarchives 5, we start with the inertia of a protean Tantalus. I didn't really like this one. I didn't really care for kind of the dream stuff. I felt like we started this anthology on really shaky legs, and I don't know if I agree that this should have been kind of the front runner or like the forerunner for the anthology, you know, your starter story. So I don't know, but I'm kind of like anti the dream stuff overall, or like metaphysical stuff that's not really what I enjoy. I know some people enjoy it and like it a lot, but it's not really my kind of thing. So I didn't really like this one. Maybe I just got filtered. I am a midwit, so that's very possible. Human Candles. This was actually, I saw this before in the weird works of Dave Martell, but this is great. This is like really top shelf Bizarchives. We have Dr. Levick, and then we have Henry as his student, and these two guys figure out that you can use human misery as his energy source, and you can use that energy to speak with spirits. And you also get this like glimpse into the future when Levick is taken into the mirror on the other world, and Henry just kind of gets, I don't know, I'd say just black-pilled about how things are going to go. But this was really cool. It was like creepy and gross with like putting the humans into the vats, you know, and then just turning them into like, just pickles almost, you know. It was creepy, gross, good. Tears of the Flower Princess. This is, who is this? M.S. Jones. Toadstool and some other stuff. But it's about this guy collecting flowers on this perilous mountain, and there's kind of this curse thing going on. Yeah, I thought this was fine. I liked it. Then we have a little poem here, and yeah, there's a few little poems throughout. I think there's just the 3, and like I like them. Poems aren't really my kind of thing typically, but these were enjoyable enough. The Bounty Hunter of Harmony. Ah, yes. I thought, I was excited because this was Jordan Allen, and I've reviewed some of his books on my channel. We started with, okay, we're in like the post-apocalypse. Okay, he's using a cell phone to like trade cryptocurrency with this guy. Okay, we're mentioning mutants. And I'm like, oh shit, this is in the world of mutagenesis. So this is a good story, even if you don't know the book. I do recommend the book, Mutagenesis, right? Still a good story, even if you don't know it. And yeah, this is just a nice little story about this bounty hunter. This has to take place before the book is concluded, before Mutagenesis is concluded, because some characters are mentioned, and it has to take place within this timeline, like before certain events happen, right? Still, this is cool. We get a Lucius Lex comic next. That was nice, just quick little thing, but that was kind of cool. I liked it. Another poem. The Mystery of Gerhardt's Beach. This was by Arbogast. He did Shanghai Horror, and he's done some other stuff as well. I liked it. Shanghai Horror and this. It's got like eldritch stuff. It has like Japanese war espionage stuff, and there's also like a ghost as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I was a little confused on page 102, just in terms of like placement and what exactly is happening, because it sort of feels like he's chased this man, the Scarecrow Man, right? But it seems like he's right next to Midnight. He's like right next to Midnight in this factory. But then Midnight uses his shotgun to kill two of Justice's accomplices, and then Justice just books it. And I didn't fully get it because it seemed like he was very close, and I didn't understand like why he didn't shoot at all, why he didn't shoot Midnight. So somewhat a little confused by that. Overall, though, I liked it. This is nice. We have the Boglord's Curse poem. That was nice, too. Crimson Canyons, we have this cursed conquistador, and he like fights some Indians, right, in the New World. And this felt like a prologue a bit. I'd read more, I was interested enough, I'd read more, but it feels more just like kind of like a prologue. Pimlico Vampire by Webster. That name's familiar. He's probably done a few other stories. And it's just this vampire, he's sucking the life out of people. So we just kind of that where the police are trying to track him down, and he's getting younger and younger, and he gets away at the end, and that was interesting. After that, we have this story, Grim and Troll. I really like this. This is like really nice sword and sorcery kind of stuff. We have this marooned Viking fighting a troll, and he frees this beautiful woman. Turns out she's this Valkyrie. And yeah, they're just working together, and they kill this troll, right? And then it's like, hey, I had to kill 4 more of these things. And I definitely read more. If this is like a serial or whatever, I would definitely read more. This is very entertaining and good. On to the future. The one I was like most excited to read is Cloak of Hands with Count Choralor. This is excellent. This is my favorite thing in the Bizarchives overall. This is great. We have a lot of world building following the exploits of Choralor, Alabaster Order, and all of that. It turns out that when they escaped last time with their undead dragon, that something was tracking them. And now that thing has come to fight Varkle and his drains. Varkle is able to look at Featherbones, and he does something to her. I'll get into it. On the bottom of page 167, he hoped it was a question of the owl's proximity to the beast in relation to himself and his waning power in relation to distance that allowed the ghoul to violate his second favorite minion. So, second favorite. Look, I get it. Prospero is Prospero, but second favorite. I mean, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay, because Featherbones is like best girl. So that's fine. She's like the only girl, but she's best girl. If there are other women they would take a second seat to her. Unliving 11, and this is the guys from the Order that did a bunch of a bunch of rituals, try to live forever type of deal, and they kind of brought hell to the world. Page 175. This got to me. This pulled on my heartstrings, man. It almost ripped them out. But the pale knight threw a crumpled heap of feathers and bones at Choralor's feet, which he realized was the remains of Featherbones the owl. He knelt down to feel her lifeless corpse and was confident that it was the real Featherbones, no alabaster apparition adorned with crazed glamour magical distortions. Oh my god, dude. Oh, holy shit, man. I can't take that. Son of a bitch, dude. Not Featherbones. Ah, man. But he beats Varkle, but now the Unliving 11, they know, kind of an approximation of where he is, and they're going to be back, because Varkle is immortal, I guess, as long as this black sarcophagus exists. And I'm sure we'll meet the others of his order going forward and all that. Page 188. The dragon weighed heavily on his mind. What about Featherbones? Is Featherbones okay? Because it didn't say that he picked up her body to, reanimate her. He got her body to twitch, right? Earlier, that's something, right? She's fine, right? I fucking hope so. This is all we got in terms of like women for Count Chorler. This is like the closest thing we got for like women. So we really can't lose it here, folks. Last, we have a pirate story. This is the Adventures of Vertarn the Bloody and Treacherous. Nothing personal. Like, I think everyone knows it when I make these reviews. If I dislike something, it's nothing personal against an author or anything like that. But I really did not like this. This was very edgy to me. I would call this kind of a pizza cutter story. And what I mean by that is all edge, no point. It's a Vertarn. He cheats at gambling. He kills a bunch of men. He murders a bunch of men. I guess you could say it's self-defense, but he escalated the situation to the point of violence, right? And then later on, after he kills all these other pirates in the bar, he goes to their ship, and with the help of another guy, they kill everyone on board. And he has killed the captain, who is the father of this beautiful girl there. And then he's like joking about it at the end that at least for a week he's going to be able to be with her. So he's just going to be able to rape her for a week, and maybe he kills her at the end, or maybe he lets her go, or I don't know. But he's going to at least be able to rape her for a week. And that's just really lovely. That's just super great. And it's just, I don't really see the point of anything. You know, I think you can have like dark or morally gray characters and such. I think you can do that, but there's really nothing going on here. Or, you know what I mean? It's just evil man commits a bunch of evil, and then at the end he promises to do more evil. I didn't like it. I didn't really care for it. Anyways, small scraps for the Bizarchives. We have page 102. It's in one had. It should just be one hand. We have page 103. It's X now instead of just now. 146, we have world around, but it's WHORLED instead of the I. 169, he brought it down the floor in a dramatic gesture, brought it down to the floor. So just missing that too. Yeah, really interested in seeing what's coming next. This is good stuff. That's it for that. And now I'm going to talk about two things that I'm not reviewing and I don't really want to do videos on. I don't know. I don't really see the point. The first is just this movie. I don't know. Someone recommended it online. It's called Amelia. I guess it's this French like comedy movie. I didn't really like it. I don't really love foreign movies that much. They're just a bit too weird. Something's just always a bit off. I was watching it late at night, and I literally rolled over and turned my back on it to sleep on the couch. There's maybe 20 minutes left of the movie. I didn't pause it. I didn't watch the last 20 minutes the next day. I literally rolled over to not see it, to not watch it anymore. That's my review. That's my review of the movie. Yeah, just I got nothing to say for it. It just wasn't very good. And next is a video game. This is a bit of a story time, you know, so strap in, I guess. This is about this new edition of a game called Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. This is a kind of remake of a few games that came out on the GameCube. It came out on the GameCube in like 2005, I want to say. There was Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, and then Harvest Moon: Another Wonderful Life. And I played it when I was like pretty young. I guess I don't want to give my age away fully, but fairly young when it came out, and I really liked that game when I was a kid. You know, it's a farming game. You know, you run around a little town, you grow crops, you live in a high trust society, you get married, you have kids, that type of thing, right? Just crops, high trust society. Just imagine that, right? Kind of thing I enjoy. And I really liked it as a kid, and I remember like taking my parents and like showing them kind of stupid, but they put up with it, right? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, these are all my animals, you know, these are my crops. Even show them like my virtual family, which is a little weird, but I don't know. Regardless, good memories with that game. It was just nice and wholesome and whatever. But recently on Steam, I sometimes look at farming game, but I saw that there was a remake of it, and this was Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. This is the new remake, and it came out fairly recently. You know, I was looking at it on Steam. I didn't think I was going to get it because I'm not that much of like a consumer that I want to play something that I played as a kid, especially not at that price. But There's a little, you can just go on Steam and look at it yourself if you want to, but it's they've made new updates. You know, I'll include some screen caps for it, but it's tell your story your way. Play as male, female, or non-binary, and customize your look as you start your new story in Forgotten Valley. Regardless of how you choose to play, all of the 8 eligible bachelors and bachelorettes have romantic potential, so you can truly be who you want to be and fall in love with your heart's desire. And that's just great. That's just really great. And I have some further screen caps where it's you just choosing your pronouns, right? And it just kept running through my head where I was a pretty young kid when I played this on the GameCube. And I just think about this game and young kids finding it and playing it. And instead of showing their mom and dad their animals and their crops and whatever, it's going to be, Mom, Dad, what does non-binary mean? Mom, Dad, what do they mean by pronouns? It's going to be that. And it's just so fucking nasty. It's so fucking evil. And it made me pretty mad. It made me pretty mad when I saw it. You know, and I know there's going to be a smug neckbeard Redditor going, but how does this affect you personally? How does this affect you personally? It's a children's video game, you know? This is for like little kids, and it's just, hey, we're attacking you. Hey, we're attacking kids psychologically, man. But if you mention it, if you bring it up, we'll for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake, this is some evil shit. This is really evil. And it's like, what's the big deal? It's included, but I mean, like, what's the big deal? It's like, you know what the big deal is. The big deal is that it's in there regardless. You know, the big deal is that it's a fucking option in the first place. But it's going to plant that seed in a kid's head, you know? God fucking damn it. But I didn't really want to do a video on it. One, I don't want to like actually buy the game and pay money for it and give money to this corporation for it. But another part is like, it kind of goes against what I want to do with the channel, which is like promote independent people, promote people in like the sphere, I guess, if you want to call it the circle of people, and new IPs and new stories and stuff that we'll have to create and all that. But I wanted to mention it. And it's like, oh my God, Jesus fuck. It got to me a little bit. I'll admit, it got to me a little bit because I keep thinking about little kid playing this, and then it's just getting at them, you know, just like digging at them psychologically, and it's fucked. It's really fucked. I'm kind of tired of the normie shit. I'm tired of being awake all the time. Hey, have you watched latest psychological weapon against you on TV? It's like, no, I haven't. I don't know. It's very tiring. Being around them, the normies. These are good. Aegeon 6, Bizarchives 5, these are good. You know, check those out. I guess if you have kids, Dr. Infinity does not have kids at the moment. I'm working on that. But if you have kids, stay the fuck away from Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. And I don't know, that's kind of terrifying as well. Like, if you have kids, you have to, like, check everything. You have to check, like, everything. Because you don't want them, because all this shit is a fucking weapon, you know? And that's awful. That is fucking awful. You can never, like, let your guard down. Sorry about kind of the rant and tangent at the end. Sorry about that. But just, it got to me a little bit. I might not have a video next week. I'm kind of trying to do this triple feature with 3 books, and I don't know if I can get them all read in time. So maybe I'll have some movie or something. It's kind of a holdover. We'll see. Maybe a Trough video next week. Maybe not. Maybe something else. Anyways, thanks for watching. Give these 2 a read if you haven't. You know, links below. Dr. Infinity out.
Are their spirits broken? Have they lost hope? You bet they have, because they are facing starvation. Just look at that miserable duck. Nothing but a bag of bones and feathers. Truly a picture of despair. Despairing duck. But Donald doesn't whimper. Donald doesn't give up.
Shut up! I can't stand it! I'll be all right. I'll be all right.